And like it's totally understandable. But what I would say is you don't have it. Clearly it's working. The situation is working. I would say the face mask you should, especially if you are going into a store. Should be practice, I think.
In the store, I have to. But what if we're all weakening though? Let's flip side here. What if we're all weakening our immune systems by doing this? Right? What if we used to be able to fight stuff because we were exposed to stuff? I mean, do you have kids?
No.
So
I'm lucky. So
I mean, I have a 7-year-old daughter, right? And I'm so thankful that I got the petri dish of preschool, kindergarten, first grade until it was canceled.
Yeah.
To get bizarre diseases, right? Like she's a dang petri dish. I mean, watching her preschool, she went to a hippie preschool too. So it was like a shoeless, hands and mouth.
Steiner school? Or?
It wasn't. It was just like even hippier than that. It was just a backyard preschool, like an awesome lady who just had a bunch of dirty kids running around her backyard. And that was it. So experiencing this petri dish has always made me feel really like I got anything, right? Like I'm immune to stuff just purely based on the petri dish I live in. But
you do drink a lot of vodka too, you know.
That also,
the
combo of petri dish and vodka, I feel like, oh man, I'll last through it. I'll be the cockroach who lasts through a nuclear apocalypse. But there's something about humans being gross to each other. Mm-hmm. Once you remove that, are we all going to be weirdly susceptible now to any little thing?
I would say that ship had already sailed years ago with all the disinfectants that we've used in our homes and everything. I think the way we live now, even if you were going out and even with kids, like my brother had coronavirus, he's a school teacher. You know, he's exposed to kids all the time.
How'd it go with him? What was his?
He lost his sense of smell, felt really shitty for like 3-4 days, cough that's still going on, dry cough. But he was very lucky. He had some heavy breathing, but not overly difficult. So he didn't go. But, you know, it's enough to scare you. And, you know, he's okay, luckily. And he's in London. So,
yeah. I mean, New York. I mean, I love New York, Brooklyn, all of it so much, so much. But it does seem like if something's going to go absolutely wrong,
it happens here.
That's where it's going to go absolutely wrong.
It does, but it's not though. It's happening in Chicago. It's happening in Michigan. It's happening in a lot of urban places now. But it is spreading, and the concern is to let up too early and spread it without face masks, or some sort of protection. Like it's super, super easy to spread. Like that's the thing that everyone is freaked out about.
But what if we have a lot of fun and throw caution to the wind and go have a big coronavirus party?
I wish we could. I wish we could. We all nobody wants to be stuck indoors. I haven't surfed in almost 2 months now.
Has there been surf?
It's been one of the best springs ever,
I'm sorry.
It's partially my fault. I put myself in this position where I took a stance that I wasn't going to. So, I can't go against that now. I fucked myself.
No, you always can. The best part is being a hypocrite. That's what the best part of humanity is, just bald-faced hypocrisy.
Oh, God. No, I mean, it's like nobody wants to be doing these things. But it is if one thing is the medical workers will get affected more so than all of us.
But what if they don't? What if it's Sweden? What if Sweden's right and being together and making some herd immunity is actually the way to do it? Nobody knows.
Sweden, we will see though, right? We will see what happens with. Well, no, we don't. Their infection rate's actually gone pretty high. If I saw, they were actually much higher than Denmark, which took precautions.
Sure, but their hospitals. Yeah. I mean, the whole point is not overwhelming your hospital, right?
And you forget something. They have universal health care.
Precisely. I mean,
they have a social safety net. We don't have that.
No,
our stuff we are in so much trouble because a lot of, rural areas, holy shit, they got no hospitals.
Yeah.
I mean, they got no hospitals. And you have, like, in lots of parts of the South, like, a lot of people who are predisposed to this. Like, they say obesity is one of the underlying things that they're seeing as a trend. So I think, like, holy shit, man, like, people don't realize, like, this, if it does spread, like, there's going to be a lot of people just not doing well because they're not going to go to the doctor because of healthcare and all those things, right?
But you as a surfer, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. How many times have you rocked up on shore, not during coronavirus life, where, I mean, say a surf trip, right?
Yeah.
Heavy-ish reef break where you're thinking, oh man, I could get fully pummeled into the reef.
True.
And stitched up and or concussed and or way worse, broken in half. And you think, I've got to paddle out anyway, right? Where what if this is mankind's just paddle out moment? And oh no, we accidentally got a bunch of stitches. But hey, we paddled out.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a collective mind where we all can decide together. And the thing is, like, I could say that, but someone else may not want to. Someone who may be trying to go to cancer treatment right now and are like, shit. Actually, a former coworker of mine, she had breast cancer. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in December. She's been, doing all the chemo and everything. She's fine. She's okay. But she's like, I can't really go out. I can't do stuff. I have to be really careful. And those are things that are, I think, the thing is, like, we think of ourselves, but because I'm in the thick of it here.
Sure.
I'm super hyper aware of what I do that affects people right now.
But what if the best thing you could do is to go take your herd coronavirus immunity and just spread it around? Just go breathe on people. Just hug people.
If it wiped out, I've always said, like, hey, we should get rid of warning labels, get rid of a lot of the dumb people in the world. But I mean, but none of
really
us wish.
I wish. No, but do any of us know? The scientists don't know. I mean, that's the crazy thing, right? I think the science community,
they know enough, though. But they know enough, and there is data. Oh gosh, yeah. There's plenty of data to show how easily it spreads. In South Korea, they're able to contact trace everything through cell phone interactions. And you could see how fast it spreads. It's so wild. It's insane.
Just imagine if this thing was actually, not that it's not nasty, it's nasty, but imagine if it was like
Ebola,
where it was like eating people and stuff. Like, I think then you'd have real people staying. The fact that that's the weird thing is it's so oddly, I don't know, like, I don't know anybody.
It's not in your face.
No, it's not in your face. And you maybe know somebody who knows, and in New York, people who actually probably have gone to the the emergency room, right?
No people who've died.
Yeah, precisely.
It's all of that stuff. Yeah. No,
but out here in California, and I think in much of the nation, right, and in much of the world, people are thinking, "What? We're all shut down for this thing." I don't know. Like, I know one person who's had it and was totally fine. Right? That's my So you have this real disparate, I feel, interaction with this thing. Where in New York, my New York friends are all, no, this is properly serious. And everyone else I know is like, I literally don't know anybody who's even tested.
Yeah. And but that's human nature, right? Like, we avoid a disaster because we did everything right. And, it was no big deal. But when you don't, but when things go wrong, go wrong. Holy shit, and H1N1, Obama handled it smoothly.
Sure.
He did all the right steps. They left the playbook for this administration, which is crazy. And they threw that out the window. And right now, the thing is, like, people are getting upset at their local government, and they shouldn't. I would say, you want to get pissed off at the federal government for not fucking commandeering some manufacturers to make a shitload of tests that were made available to us from Germany in February.
Have you been tested?
No.
Will you be? Do you want to get a test?
Yeah, when they do when the antibody tests are available, I think I potentially might have had it, and it might have been mild for me, but I don't know. It could have been the flu. You never know this shit. But
I mean, who knows?
But I think that's where people should be directing their angst a lot more. Like, because you want this to be over, we need tests to know if people are going to be safe. If they're safe, then fucking like, good. You can go out. You could go to the store. You can isolate those people then.
But will this just become, do you think, so here's another counterpoint for you.
I love this.
Will this become like, and I know this is not the flu, right? This is different than the flu and all the flu, blah, 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 blah. But they make a flu vaccine every year that works real hit or miss, right?
Yeah, it's like over 50%.
Sure,
I think, right?
If they catch the right flu, then they've got it pretty good. And if not, then they don't. Where coronavirus, if there's just all people need is a vaccine that theoretically works at like a 30 to 50% level and or 10 to, there just needs to be something where people can feel, oh, I'm safe. And then life is normal, as opposed to it actually doing anything.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, maybe placebos can have a strong effect.
Totally. Like, okay. And there is odd, and it's gross to talk about, but like a level of mortality is okay in a lot of things, right? Where flu, it's just assumed that, there is a level of stuff. Where with coronavirus, I feel the acceptable level is somehow 0. And so every death, where you'll see cities and whatever shutting down, crazy town, and they'll be like, oh, I mean, not Wyoming, I'm sorry, who had their election recently?
Wisconsin?
Wisconsin, exactly.
They had the primary,
Wisconsin, it was like, this thing was a disaster. They forced people to vote, and 36 people now have coronavirus. And I'm thinking, 36 people have it? Like, after letting everyone vote? I mean, who cares?
They don't know, because again, the incubation period is so long that you can go without symptoms or even testing, positive for it for 2 weeks. Then, that's the danger, right? And then you it may not hit you hard, but it may hit someone else hard. And those are the scary things. And that's why 36 people, but multiply that every few days. That all of a sudden becomes like a big thing unless you fully sealed them off and got to them as quickly as possible. Unless it doesn't, and unsealing them allows them to reach herd immunity, and then you're all good, right? I mean, that's like I would study up more on herd immunity, and for myself, I need to, because I don't know enough. I just think, but human beings were built for crazy diseases, and there's been wild pandemics that have swept through humanity. I mean, I read about one, just the other day, or I think it was a 1918 flu. It wasn't the Spanish flu. But it was another one. Yeah, it was another one that literally killed hundreds of thousands of people. Hemingway was writing, F. Scott Fitzgeralds were writing, all these guys were writing. Nobody covered it. It didn't even make a blip on their screen, and it killed hundreds of thousands of people. Yeah. Whereas this random flu that swept through, where weird disease hits, and what is our human response, and how much can we actually control to any 1918 was a long time ago, and the world was not as interconnected. So we don't, you just wouldn't know. I mean, if it didn't get out or you didn't read the newspaper from that country, it'd be difficult to see that. Particularly leading up to World War I or after World War I and the return, I could see how it could get lost in that.
Sure, but hundreds of thousands of people dying, and it didn't even raise an eyebrow. It was like,
it's a shame. That's a shame. But this is now, like someone takes a shit on social media and everyone knows,
But do you think honestly, or would you feel, will you feel better after this, right? If you think I was super safe, we destroyed the economy and everybody was super safe, and now everybody's out of business, but that's okay because we were super safe. But we overreacted, but at least we were being super safe, versus a bunch of people died, we played fast and loose, but whatever. Like, I mean,
I think it would have more effect on our economy if 1 million people die or 2 million people die. That actually has a much worse effect on the economy in the long run than the short term.
But it doesn't even feel like that's happening anymore. It feels like the whole narrative is shifting away from like, okay, it's 36 people get it. It's really, really bad. And it is. Like, I mean,